Hi, this is Damon Tennant with the Get Your GED Now Test Preparation Series, welcoming you to a new year of GED preparation 2014. Of course, here to talk about the new 2014 version of the GED test and our new product, the Get Your GED Now Test Preparation Series 2014 Addendum. I want to talk to you about some of the changes that have happened in this test because they're very significant, and this test is a lot different than the 2002 version, which many of us have become accustomed to working on and preparing to take. The first major change is in the math test. The math has radically changed. Now, is math still math? Absolutely. Yes, it is. Are percents still percents? Are ratio proportions still ratio proportions? Absolutely. But math has had a significant change. The written responses, the way that they grade and ask you to show your written skill has definitely changed. And in my mind, the hugest change on the 2014 GED test is how this test is scored. And I'll talk about that shortly. The first change I want to talk about is the 2014 GED Math test. The major change on this test is that it is 55% algebra. Now, on the old test, it was anywhere between 20 and 30%, landing somewhere around 25% algebra. And I became famous on YouTube for telling you that you could pass the GED math test without having any algebra. I can no longer say that. The test is now 55% algebra. The test is still a two-part test. The first part is 5 questions, which you cannot use a calculator on. And then the second part, we don't know how many questions. But there is a raw score, and so there's a number of points that you can get. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are 49 questions. It just means that there is 49 raw points that you can get. And then those points get scaled on this scale of 100 to 200. Okay? So big changes here. So you'll still have 45% of the quantitative stuff, the percents, the fraction, ratio, proportion, basic shape measurement, all those things that we've talked about together for years here on YouTube. But you will need to have knowledge of the common formulas. Okay, so area, perimeter, volume, cost, distance, you're going to have to come to the test with those formulas. They're going to give you the more difficult formulas like the quadratic equation formula or the slope formula, formulas like that. You're going to get those formulas, but you're going to have to bring area, perimeter, volume, and those kinds of formulas to the test, knowing those up here. Also, I want to talk about the written response. So now instead of an essay, there's something called an extended response. So in the old days, the essay was, here's an essay question. What is your opinion on child rearing? Or is it better to live in a city or is it better to live in a country? Now that is all gone. What they're going to give you is a writing, and that writing can be up to 900 words. So number one, you're going to have to read this writing, and it can be a debate about something. Is it better to have the Electoral College or popular vote to elect a president, or just some other contemporary type of issue? And you're going to have to read and analyze that information and then do an extended response. Now, they're saying that this is not an essay, and so it might not be an essay, but to me, in my opinion, the essay is still the time-honored way for an individual to organize his thought or her thought and to do it in a way of clarity. And so I am still encouraging you to at least think in the form of an essay to outline your writing. There's also going to be a short answer, which we didn't have before. These are changes. You know, it was all multiple choice. Social studies was all multiple choice. Science was all multiple choice. But now you're going to have a writing component. And these short answers might take anywhere from a few sentences to a paragraph. You might have heard about the variety of question types, drop-down menus, fill in the blank, hotspot, and putting points on a picture, or moving drag and drop features. All these things that are now able to be done because the test is now administered on the computer. Now, the testing service still says that you don't have to have any prior knowledge of science or prior knowledge of social studies, but you do have to have some contextual understanding of these things, but the written response has changed. They're not just asking your opinion on something, they're giving you a writing. You have to analyze, you have to evaluate, and then you have to apply that in a writing. Now, the biggest change that has happened is the test scoring. Before, I was famous. I got famous here on YouTube for telling you that you could pass the test without any algebra. Or you could pass the math test by squeaking by with a 410. Well, now with this new scoring module, you need to have 150 on each test. So you can ace one test, and if you get 130 in another test, you don't pass. Those tests can't help the scoring of another test like we used to be able to do on the 2002 version. So 100 to 149 is not passing. 150 to 169 is passing. 170 to 200 is honors passing, because this test was designed to be career and college ready. So then you can take that and say, well, I did not just pass the GED, but I have honors passed the GED. And that hopefully will help you at some point. But you need 150 to pass. And I used to be able to tell you, well, how many questions do I need to get right to pass this thing? Well, it's harder for me to tell you that. I don't know. I can't tell you how many questions are going to be there. I can just tell you that there's these raw scores that somehow scale between 100 and 200. And so the best strategies are going to be contained in our new product, helping you to overcome even that scoring. The slide says much has changed, but much has stayed the same. Writing is still writing. Let me tell you, a verb is still a verb, a noun is still a noun, a run-on sentence is still a run-on sentence. 1 plus 1 is still 2. They're just testing you different, and they're testing you on different kinds of skills that before they were not testing you on. So that is what has changed in this new test. Our whole focus is to help adults who have been out of school for 10 plus years. Now, can I help an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old? Absolutely, we do all the time. But my focus is for people who are a little bit rusty, been out of school for a while, a little bit uncomfortable, and our whole program is designed for that kind of individual, breaking things down in pieces, bringing you back into the academic framework so you can take this test and have success. Now, we're very excited about our 2014 addendum. 4, count them, 4 one-hour algebra lessons, breaking this down. See, the problem with algebra for people who didn't finish high school was algebra was either one of the reasons that they dropped out, or they didn't ever get to it, or if they got through it, they didn't get through it successfully. So we are breaking this down from slope-intercept to quadratic formula to factoring to polynomials, the whole thing, integers. We are breaking down all the pieces of algebra, getting you prepared for the skill and the interpretation of the skill with the word problems on the GED test. The extended response questions, we're going to show you how to do that. The new question types, taking you through and getting you comfortable with that. Social studies, science, reading language arts, and some strategy. But again, our focus is for people who've been out of school for a while, and we just break it down into a way that you can be successful with the content. We're very proud to offer this in 2 forms. We're going to offer it as a DVD set and a book. So if any of you have bought our prior product, you know that there's a 6 DVD set and a book that goes along with it. This one is going to have an additional 6 DVD set and a book that goes along with that, or you can get it instant download. Some people like to have the materials in their hand, so boom, you have them in your hand. Some people like to have it on computer, so you can save some money if you get the instant download. But we are proud to be providing this on the 24th of February. It's a Monday, and that product will be available at www.mygedlive.com. So again, contact me. This is one of the advantages that I bring to folks who are preparing for the GED. We have a weekly live class. So you can work with me, and I'm at this whiteboard and writing on here and talking right to you, and just as I'm talking to you now, except it's live. So we have the live weekly classes, we have the video and the DVD, and putting all that together so that you can have success. Reach out by mail, reach out by email, reach out by telephone, but reach out and get the help that you need to pass this test in 2014. Again, my name is Damon Tennant with the Get Your GED Now Test Preparation Series. Thank you.